Welcome to the Green Wave Coaches Show with Gallatin football head coach Michael Stroup and Gallatin News sports editor Blaine Kellar. The Green Wave Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Ace Hardware. Football season is grilling season, so stop by Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out their large selection of Big Green Egg grills. Also brought to you by Double Dogs, Sumner County's favorite sports bar. Dairy Berries Heating and Air. Dairy Berries has been voted Sumner County's best heating and air service for the past 9 years. For outstanding service, give them a call today. And finally, by Tennessee Highway Safety Office, reminding you that fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now here are Coach Michael Stroup and Blaine Kellar.
Back from the bye on the Green Wave Coaches Show, brought to you by Double Dogs, Dairy Berries Heat and Air, and Tennessee Ace Hardware. I'm Sumner County Sports Editor Blaine Kellar, joined as always by Gallatin football coach Michael Stroup. Coach, how did you and your staff kind of enjoy maybe a couple of days away? How did you guys kind of approach a week off coming off of fall break?
I took the first couple of days off and just kind of spent time with the family, and then I think maybe Tuesday I started getting back after it, and then we got back together on Thursday and Friday as a team and practiced, try to get the kids back into it. So that's how we spent our fall break.
Was that typical to how you guys kind of attacked that off week last year, or did anything kind of change in that kind of preparation between seasons?
No, it's I've done it for years like that. You know, it's an opportunity for the kids to get away from it and spend some time with their families, and you know they have plans and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I've always done.
What was the emphasis maybe that you guys kind of applied to your players coming back from a 2-5 start?
We just went back to the fundamentals and had 2 days to kind of focus on that, have more individual time, and then trying to get back to the basics.
What specific maybe fundamentals or basics did you guys work on? I know a couple weeks back the emphasis was physicality, trying to play a more physical brand of football. Is that more the same at that, or was there anything different that you guys kind of tried to teach in that period?
Well, offensively we worked, ball security and individual blocking techniques up front, and then defensively. It was tackling, getting after getting pursuit of the ball and whatnot. So yeah, that's what we did.
How have you seen the players respond out of fall break? And I know it's early, coming out of that period away, but how have they kind of attacked coming back and trying to keep up positive momentum and start something at the end of the season?
Well, I think they've come to practice each week with a positive mindset and energy. I thought we had a great day yesterday, and the tempo was good, and we had to have a come to Jesus talk in the weight room. We had some guys that were not dressed out properly and whatnot. So I kind of divided the team there in this room and put the guys who dressed right on one side and the guys that didn't dress out right on the other. And we kind of had a talk about doing the little things, and and we're in the position we are because we don't do the little things right. And if if it's important to you, then you'll find a way, and if it's not, you'll find an excuse. So we had that conversation, and we talked about, how high achievers don't like mediocre people, and mediocre people don't like high achievers. So we had those conversations, and then we went out to practice. We had a great practice. So kids got after it, and the energy was fun. We had tempo on offense. But yeah, we had a good practice.
So you saw maybe, I wouldn't go as far to say maybe that sparking your players, but did you see that kind of have a positive output, kind of that come to Jesus moment that you talked about?
Well, I don't know. When you have a group like we have this year, it's just you've got to go back and hit the reset button a bunch. And when I use the term undisciplined, it's not attitude wise or anything like that. It's just it's little things. And I stressed to them at the end of practice yesterday, it's the little things that matter. And as you get older, I told them you'll understand that, when when you get married and you have kids and you tell your wife before you leave, you love her. You tell your kids that you love them. That doesn't seem like a lot, but those things matter. It's the little things. So that's what we're missing here right now. And it's hanging your shirt up in the locker room, being on time. So you got to reemphasize that every week.
And coaches talk about that a lot, those little things being important, toward a culture of winning. You've experienced that at previous stops. How does that impact a program toward winning? Something as small as dressing out right in the weight room or hanging something up in practice. How does that impact larger things that happen on the field?
Well, I mean, if you take care of the little things and you do the little things right, then you can count on them to take care of the big stuff. And you show up on time for a practice or a period or a class, whatever it may be, then I can count on you not to jump off sides when it's 4th and 1. I can count on you to make a play for us when we need you to make a play. But if you can't do the little things, how do you expect you're going to ever do the big things, right?
Sure.
So, you just reemphasize that, and it's, again, it's changing the culture, and it's got to be the mindset of the players. It's got to be the mindset of the coaches. It's got to be the mindset of the managers, the film guy, the parents, and the community. Man, everybody's got to be on board with it.
I'm sure that when you talk about that weight room meeting that you guys had, that might not be the first time that you've had a kind of intense or serious moment with a team that struggled this season. How did you see that one kind of get to the players and maybe stick with them through at least Monday's practice?
I don't know if it did. I mean, they're teenage kids. I mean, you tell them one thing 1 second and they're off to cartoon land the next. So I mean, that's just how kids are built. But I think that I don't know if it had anything to do with the way we practice or not. But I mean, it's good as a coach after you have those conversations and tell those kids that they go out there, and one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to go out there and pout about it, or they're going to go out there and do their job. And they went out there and did their job yesterday, and that was a good sign.
How did this week away maybe impact some players, help some players in regards to getting healthy, maybe, and maybe help some coaches, like you mentioned, hit the reset button going into another region game against Wilson Central?
Yeah, anytime you can get time off and get healthy and healed up, it's good. So having that week off and kind of guys getting away from each other and then getting back and seeing each other and kind of like just being happy to see each other again. Sometimes you need that, and but yeah, that's important. A good bye week.
Any updates on how maybe some of the health of your players is going? I know Jackson, as you mentioned, had a nagging injury at the outset of the season. Jeremiah, of course, a while ago had that preseason injury to him. Jaden Hoskins has dealt with injuries throughout the season. Where are those guys at this point, and maybe your team as a whole, health-wise?
I think we're probably as healthy as we've been since, week 2 of the season. So I think that, Jaden came back and was all smiles and running well, and Jack is healed up and ready to go, and Jeremiah is too. So yeah, it was good. It was a good time to have a break.
I know I ask you a lot about that father-son dynamic with Jackson. How do you guys approach that during the bye week? Living under the same roof and trying not maybe so much to focus on football.
Oh, I mean, he's like any other kid. He wants to spend some time with friends and he wants to play the video games and whatnot. So I mean, I let him be a kid. Sure. I mean, we do. I think he was about the same way. I think about Tuesday or Wednesday he started diving into film. So, but yeah, I've always. I don't put too much pressure on him to do this or that. He works with a separate quarterback coach on the side, so he'll go work with him and whatnot. But for the most part, it's not ball 24/7 at my house. My wife won't let that happen. So, but yeah, we kind of keep it even.
Just one note from that last game that you guys played at Cookeville, a loss there, but Jeremiah and Jackson, I believe, connected for 3 touchdowns in that game. Are you encouraged by how that kind of looked, that performance coming out of an off week?
I like how we found a rhythm, and all year we've struggled to find a rhythm, and we did that against Cookeville Friday, and they're a good football team. They're a good defense. I would probably say second best defense in our region. So I think the kids did a really good job of executing the offense. We got in a rhythm, like I said. We got the first drive and scored on the first drive of the game. Defense held them and punted it, and then it was just kind of back and forth, and we had some bad breaks happen again. But I don't think the kids offensively, we didn't quit. We kept on going out there. I think we punted twice all night. Not 100% sure on that, but they kept churning and kept working, and we saw a lot of positive things offensively.
Do you feel like maybe Jackson and Jeremiah, not to say that they were on the wrong page by any means, considering the production they had last year, but maybe turning toward those figures from last season with a performance like that?
Well, I think they're healthy. That's the biggest thing. Jeremiah's been dealing with a high ankle sprain all season. If you ever had a high ankle sprain and play sports, those are hard to get by on. Low ankle sprains are different. You can heal pretty quick from those things, but high ankle sprains are a little bit more troublesome. So I think for the first time we had both of those guys healthy, and that's what we were able to do.
Jackson, Jeremiah, and Jaden all look to be healthy going into this week's game against Wilson Central, though it's a little bit more about football, a little less about football, I should say, Friday night. We'll dive into that out of the break on the Green Wave Coaches Show.
Football season is grilling season. The Big Green Egg is the perfect grill for everyone, from the backyard cook to the world's most acclaimed chefs. Stop at Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out our large selection of Big Green Egg grills. It's the perfect grill for any grilling need.
Toby knows comfort, whether day or night. Through the highs and the lows, Toby knows. You've put it off long enough. That old system is just out with the old, in with the new. We'll make it worthwhile all the way through. Derryberry is your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Visit DerryberryAC.com today and schedule a visit. Derryberry Heat and Air, making customers for life.
Welcome back to the Green Wave Coaches Show, getting ready to preview Gallatin's game against Wilson Central. And before we dive into the main theme Friday night, Coach, I know it's an important 3-game stretch for you guys as you close out the season against Wilson Central, Springfield, and then Lebanon to close out the regular year. Have you guys talked about, as a coaching staff or to your team, about how important these next 3 games are?
Oh yeah, I mean we've talked about it for. We've talked about it since we started back open with region play with Cookeville, and and talking about how important it is for us to finish out the year and get on a winning streak. You know, and all three teams we got left are very good football teams. You know, we just got to put it together and stay together and keep a good rhythm going through the whole game and not have anything that kind of shoots yourself in the foot. So if we can do those things, I think we'll be fine.
A chance to win all three games would put Gallatin at an even mark. Of course, you lose one of those and you have a losing season. That's not something that you're familiar with as a coach. Is that something that sits in your mind at all, just trying to avoid that kind of losing mark for the year?
I mean, I don't like it. I don't worry about it, though, because, I mean, as an individual, I'm worried about the overall picture and making this program better. And you're going to have some lumps in the early stages of it, and that's what we're going through. And like I said, I kind of expected, you know, this year to be last year. But you know, it's taken a while, but I'm not worried about. I want to be a 500 team for the kids, for the program. But I can't control any of that. You know, we put the kids in the best position they can be in, and then they've got to go out and execute it at the end of the day. And so that's our goal here is next 3 weeks. Let's just make these kids get better. It doesn't matter. I told him yesterday, you know, what happened in the past doesn't matter. What happens tomorrow isn't here. We just got to worry about where our feet are and worry about what we're going to do today.
It'd be an important game not only for region standings but also for the community at Calvin Short Field on Friday. Going back a few weeks ago, Gallatin and Dixon County originally scheduled for Throwback Night honoring Union High School, that now being moved to Friday. So Coach, same question as I asked about a month ago. What was the process of all of that? How did that come about, and how exciting is that for you and your players?
Well, I think how it started was I saw basketball do it, and I saw the community come out and support it, and I thought, well, that's pretty neat. So, you know, of course, doing it in basketball and doing it in football is two different things financially. So, you know, we got some people together in the community and put our heads together and made it happen. And again, it's just an opportunity to you know, shed some light on the past, and you know, these two schools that came together in the 70s that you know, that came together and are still together, but also, you know, you remember the one that had to shut down in Union High School. So I think that we just want to remember those guys and let them know how important they were to you know, our success here.
Union, of course, was Sumner County's only black high school during the segregation movement. You've got specialty uniforms that you'll be wearing Friday night to honor Union. Can you let us in on what other festivities might be planned then?
It's a football game, about all I know. We'll have the uniforms on and we'll play football. I think the band will be decked out. I think the student section will be decked out in Union stuff. I think the Wavettes and the cheerleaders have their Union costumes as well. So, yeah, it's just the whole week is inside the school is geared toward Union. So they're having dress-up days, kind of like you would on homecoming.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
What are those? You know what those dress-up days are?
Yeah, I don't. Sorry. Yeah.
Was there anything that you've been like, a game that you've had like this before at either USJ or any of your previous stops that you could kind of draw inspiration from to make it special?
I've never done anything like this, so I don't know. You know, my big thing is, you know, I can kind of relate because we had at USJ we had Old Hickory, and then we had I think it was EDS over at Jackson, and so I know a lot of the people from EDS kind of thought that they weren't included in when they merged, and I think somewhere in the 70s, and you know, that was one of my goals, was to kind of make those guys feel welcomed, and when we had a jumbotron installed, we kind of put pictures of the two schools. It was Old Hickory and EDS, and then we kind of put a lot of light on EDS at the time. So you want to make the other school, which is Union now, feel like they're remembered.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. Any conversations that you had with Gallatin's basketball coaches through all of this? Like you said, those Union nights originated with Bobby Luna and Greta Parker and what they have been able to do for both the boys and girls basketball teams here at Gallatin.
Well, Bobby was the one that kind of poked me in the ribs a little bit, and I was talking to him about it one day in his office, and he said, "Hey, you ought to do this." And I said, "Well, Bobby, that's easier said than done. You've got 15 basketball players. I've got, anywhere between 70 and 80 football players." And he said, "You got a great point there." But, but we were able with Johnny Anderson and get together with some people in the community that wanted to be a part of this and highlight Union High School and their football teams, and that's what we want to do, and so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, really successful football program at Union as well, really successful athletic program across its lifespan. Coach, you talked about the uniforms, and what was that process like? I guess I don't really know the work that it takes to get another or a new uniform in.
Yeah.
What was that process like for you and your guys?
Well, so we had the uniforms ordered probably late April maybe, and if anybody knows anything about buying uniforms, especially in football, that's a late order. You usually have to have that stuff in about January. But they were able to get them done and get them back in. So we went back and we kind of looked at the photos from when Union played, and they're all black and white, but for the most part, they had white pants and they had either burgundy or maroon uniforms, and so we translated that the best we could to 2024. They had white helmets, so we were able to get some. They call helmet skins now that we have to place on top of the helmets, and so we'll have a white cover over the helmet.
Over the normal Gallatin helmet.
Right. Yeah, you go and order a new set of helmets, that'll cost you anywhere between $30,000 and $35,000. So that's hard to raise in a short amount of time anywhere.
What's the ballpark for the jersey cost in that?
I think altogether the jerseys were probably anywhere between, I think 15,000. We went with a BSN jersey and pants, and they did a really good job designing them and making them. So it's a little bit heavier of a jersey than what we wear on a Friday night, but it's you wear it one time a year, and it looks good. It may not fit some of them great, but it won't be bad.
So the plan, and you mentioned they're only wearing it once a year, is to continue this beyond
100%. Yeah. We want to do this every year, and just kind of show our gratitude toward Union High School and those athletes.
One more fun kind of aspect on Friday, announcing the latest edition, the latest class of the Green Wave Athletic Hall of Fame. Not going to spoil anything here on the Green Wave Coaches Show, but a few big names on the list there. Coach, you were a part of that last year. Got to see Athletic Hall of Fame class inducted. Not saying you were a part of it. You were on the field for it. What's that kind of like, as a coach, getting to see former legends of the school you coach at honored and recognized?
Did I see that?
I would think so. It'd be a home game.
Yeah, but I'm usually like in the locker room talking to the team or at halftime.
You talk to those guys at all?
I don't think I did.
Oh,
No,
well,
that
might be a dud of a question there.
Yeah, I don't know. I sorry.
No,
I'm happy for those guys, whoever they are. I don't know. I mean, they don't kind of include me on that kind of thing, so
sure.
I don't know who they are or who I don't. Who's on the list? Do you know?
I can't tell you yet.
What do you mean? Do you know?
I know.
And you can't tell?
I have the
I mean,
list.
if you know, everybody else has got to know, right?
Check into the Gallatin News at halftime on Friday night, and you'll see the full list of honorees. Like I said, a couple of big names this year as part of Green Wave.
They don't announce it until before?
I believe they announce it at halftime. That's
so nobody knows.
That's what Randy Moonpie Moore told me. That's what I was.
Well, if anybody knows, it's
That's
Moonpie.
right. If anybody knows, it's Randy.
Yeah.
So, be sure to check into the Gallatin News for coverage of the Green Wave Athletic Hall of Fame class, and of course, the Union High School Throwback Night on Friday. So we have coverage of that on Main Street Preps. We'll take one more break on the Green Wave Coaches Show. When we come back, our one fun question with Coach Michael Stroup. Stay tuned.
Football season is grilling season. The Big Green Egg is the perfect grill for everyone. From the backyard cook to the world's most acclaimed chefs. Stop at Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out our large selection of Big Green Egg grills. It's the perfect grill for any grilling need.
Hey, Toby. Toby knows comfort, whether day or night. Through the highs and the lows, Toby knows. You've put it off long enough. That old system is just out with the old, in with the new. We'll make it worthwhile all the way through. Derryberry is your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Visit DerryberryAC.com today and schedule a visit. Derryberry Heat and Air, making customers for life.
Time for our one fun question segment on the Green Wave Coaches Show. Coach Stroup, I talked with Josh Atkins at Franklin a couple of weeks ago, and we wrote a story on Main Street Preps. You can catch it now about how you and some other coaches around the Mid-State have helped guide him for his first year success at Franklin. That's not the fun question, though. He brought up that in your offense and kind of learning under you last year, he figured out that you don't have a script of plays that you run on offense. You have one or two that you kind of go to, then branch off of that. I thought that was kind of interesting from a play calling perspective. Where did you pick that up, and how have you kind of built that philosophy?
I don't know what he means. I guess, I don't script practice, and I don't have a...
well, like in an opening drive,
so for a game, yeah, I'm not that smart. You know, I do things formation-wise, and I kind of go from there. But, you know, my thing is if I've got a list of plays here that I'm going to sit here and say, well, I'm going to call these plays the first 10 plays. Well, the first one doesn't work. The second one doesn't work. You think I'm going to go follow that list on the third one? Probably not. So why make a list? Because what I want to do is I may see something here, and then I may, okay, well, let's go attack this area. So that's just how I was.
So in a game for you, it's one play, two plays that you have to start the game. I know you and Adkins talk about what your first play is going to be. And then after that, you just kind of off the dome run what your plays are? I mean, based on what you see?
Yep.
Where did you learn that from? Is that unusual for high school football coaches?
Well, no. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you go out and as a kid and you play sandlot football. I don't think they have a script of plays they go by. So I mean, sure. I didn't have that growing up, and so I mean, I just, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's not like I have a index of plays. I mean, we have 6 running plays and we have 10 passing plays. That's all we have.
16 plays total?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe a couple screens thrown in there, but that's all. I mean, that's all you got. And so you practice those, you get really good at those, and that's it. But, I mean, it's hard for me to script because, I mean, even at practice, I'm out there and I'm calling plays, and then I see something I may just want to throw in and say, well, okay, well, I see this happening, so let's try this formation. And so, yeah, all those other guys that make those scripts and do all those analytics, they're just smarter than me. That's the best answer I can give you, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, a great insight from a fun question.
But I do know the first play I want to run,
right.
and so I do this thing with my staffs that ever since I've been a head coach, and I just I pick their brain, and so hey, what's your first play? What's your first play? And so sometimes I already have a first play in my mind, and then sometimes I just take a survey and I take the winner and see what happens.
How many times has the survey won this year as opposed to what's in your mind?
Once.
Once?
Yeah, once.
Well, lots of great, probably the most insightful, fun question we've had on the Green Wave Coaches Show. A good look into the workings of the Michael Stroup offense there. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of the Green Wave Coaches Show. We'll see you Friday against Wilson Central, and back here next week on Mainstream Media Television.
You've been watching the Green Wave Coaches Show with Gallatin football head coach Michael Stroup and Gallatin News sports editor Blaine Kellar. The Green Wave Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Ace Hardware, Double Dogs, Dairy Berries Heating and Air, and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.